Well, g'day, and welcome back again to Zhaoqing. And today we are over the road. We've got the stadium over here behind us, the main road here. So if we head down this way, we head back down to my school, also heads you to the river. And if we head back the other way, this way, heads you up towards the train station. But we're actually going to take a little wander down through here. I've come past here many times, and I've never actually gone into here, but this looks an interesting little street. So we're going to go for a little walk through here. As we walk, just having posted my last video from Jiangmen, thought we might talk a little bit about traveling around China while we have a look down this street. Some things are really easy, some things can be complicated, but yeah, thought we might sort of talk a little bit about my experiences getting around China. Admittedly, my experience has been fairly limited. I did have a big trip planned to go. I was going to do Xi'an, Beijing, Harbin, Shanghai on the way back home back in January of 2020. And of course, COVID hit us. So we had to pull the stops on all that and stay home. So we missed that trip, unfortunately, but we're sort of starting to plan stuff now. Towards the end of COVID, I was getting the YouTube thing happening and spending money on cameras and stuff, so didn't really have a whole lot of ability to travel too far. We've got the laptop left to sort out now, and then we are hopefully going to start traveling a bit further afield. So, as I say, my experience is very limited. But what I do, I have had experiences traveling. So we might talk a little bit about traveling around China. So, first thing you really need to know, you need to carry your passport with you. You're going to need that to get train tickets, bus tickets, stay in hotels, all that sort of thing. Because you need to be able to show identification, and that's the identification. If you're a foreigner in China, that's the identification you're going to need. You can't use your driving license from your own country and stuff like that. And being not Chinese, you're not going to have a Chinese ID card. So passport, everywhere you go, keep it with you. I was told when I was coming here, always carry your passport with you, which I did for a long time. I thought, when I arrived here, I sort of thought, I'm going to be being stopped by the police every other week or something, and being asked to show the passport, show your visa, all that sort of thing. But it's never happened. I still do carry my passport with me everywhere because you just never know, and better to keep it with you than risk losing it somewhere, misplacing it. But I've never been asked to show my passport, aside from when I'm booking tickets or trying to book into a hotel and stuff like that. So it's never been the issue that I thought it might have been. So, traveling. You've got several options to get around. You've got, of course, the trains. The trains here are very good. You've got several options. We've mentioned before, you've got the old diesel locomotive slow trains, which are they're very good. In ways, I prefer them over the high-speed rail, but we'll come to that in a minute. Then you've got the high-speed rail network, which is, what do we got in here? The high-speed rail network, which is, okay, just a little shopping square. The high-speed rail network is countrywide. It is still expanding. It's getting more and more expansive as time goes on. They're building like crazy. I'd heard a stat which I'd mentioned on the channel before, and I think this was about 2018, saying that China had used more concrete in the previous 3 years, okay, let's go around this gate, than America had used in the previous 100 years. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but they were saying they'd heard recently that stat has been updated, and China now in the last 3 years has used more concrete than America has used in its entirety of existence. So yeah, development here is going ahead, and it's going ahead very, very fast. It's absolutely full on. So yeah, the high-speed train's very, very good. And then you have the third option here in Guangdong, and I don't know what other provinces have this, but here in Guangdong we also have the new intercity train service, which is kind of between the diesel locomotives and the high-speed rail. It's not as quick as the high-speed rail, but it operates more like a sort of subway system or a metro system, but instead of being within one city, it's between cities. So to get from here to Guangzhou on the high-speed rail is generally straight through, no other stops. They do occasionally stop in Foshan, I think, from memory. But the intercity service, you know, to get from here to Guangzhou, you might have, depending on which service you get, what time you get there, what time you catch a train. I have been on one of those trains, and it has been almost like an express train. It's had 3 stops. And then that same journey coming back home, we must have had, I don't know, 12, 15 stops. So quite a bit slower journey, but still very, very good. And very, very reasonably priced. So that's the trains. Now, I said earlier, I prefer sometimes the old, slow diesel locomotive, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, the diesel locomotive, getting from Jiaoqing to Guangzhou, the train station here for the slow train is not far from my apartment, which means it takes no time to get there. Whereas to get to the high-speed rail station, it's over an hour. It's over 2 hours if you catch the city bus out there. It's a really, really slow journey. And then getting to Guangzhou, you pull into Guangzhou South Station, and that is not really very close to any place I've ever needed to go. We're going to cross the road here, and we're going to walk back down to the wards where we started. Have a look at what we got on the other side of the road here. So the slow train was actually always my best option. There's been a couple of, the slow train's 2 hours to Guangzhou. The high-speed rail, I think, is about 40 minutes. But when you take into account buses or cars or whatever to get you to the station and then get you from Guangzhou South to wherever you're looking at going in Guangzhou, the high-speed rail has often not been my best bet. The other reason I prefer the slow train would be, the way the seating is arranged, when you get on the high-speed train, it's very much like being on a flight. The way the seats are arranged, it's sort of very private. Whereas the slow train's much more open. You sort of meet more people. There's a lot of people standing in the aisles and stuff. It's not as nice. It's more crowded quite often, but it's also a lot more social, a lot more fun. So yeah, depending on where you're going, how far you're going, you've got those sort of options. But if you're going a short distance, I would often recommend the slower train. It is really, really good. A good way to sort of meet people around the way as you're traveling. What other options do you have? Right, you have buses, which they can be interesting trying to find out where to catch the bus. There's a number of different bus stations here, but different bus stations have different destinations. So you need to find out if you're going to, City A, which station does that bus actually leave from? You can't just go to the nearest bus station necessarily. Which I found out to my cost the first time I tried to catch a bus here. I got a friend to book me a bus, and they said, "Oh, do you know where the station is?" I went, "Yeah," because I'd been past a bus station here many, many times. I thought that was the bus station. Apparently not. So I missed that bus, had to book another one and find the correct station. Buses, pretty good here. They make pretty good time, but they're just buses. Buses are much like anywhere else. So the other option is to actually hire a car, which you can do a couple of different ways. You can either hire a car just for you, which is more expensive. Let's take a little wander down this way and then we'll come back on the other side and carry back down towards our starting point. So, hiring a car. So I just did Jiangmen. Traveling there, I think it was 73 RMB. Probably would have cost me 50 RMB if I took a bus. So it's not a lot more expensive than catching a bus. So I went there, it was a share ride when I went there, and then when I came back, I actually got a car on my own. That cost me 186 RMB. And we'll get into why I got a car on my own on the way back in a minute. But cars, really good. They'll pick you up at your door and drop you off wherever you are desiring to go to. So you don't have to worry about getting a DD or catching the city bus or metro or anything when you get to your destination. They will take you right to where you want to be, which is really good. Now, having said that, it is more expensive. Getting share car, really, really good. A lot of the time you don't actually talk to anybody in the car, you just sit there quietly doing your own thing. Other times you'll meet someone who speaks some English and they'll be happy to chat away, and I've had a couple of those trips with people who are in that boat who are really really happy to chat and point out things and teach you some stuff as you go. Help you translate things for the driver, because most of I have caught one car where the driver spoke some English, but haven't run into him since. So we're into another main road down here, but we're not going to go down there. We're going to cross the road and head back the way we're coming. So now, booking a share car. I have always, in the past, wherever I'm going to visit, I get them to book me a car. So like when I go over to Yunfu, I've always had Ange book a car, because the app has never been in English. That's now changed. So I managed to book my own car going to Jiangmen, which is the first time I've done that. Then I was trying to book a car coming back. So the last video we did from Jiangmen, I went for a walk in the morning. Once we finished, I booked the car, and that was due to pick me up at 12 o'clock. 5 minutes to 12, he sent me a message, can we make it 12:30? I said, yeah, no worries. I'll just sit down, have a drink somewhere in the shade where I can cool down. And then about 20 past 5, he sent me another message, and the trip had, no, he didn't send me a message. The app automatically cancelled that car, and I had another one booked, and this one was going to pick me up at 1 o'clock. I'm going, oh god damn. And then the guy messaged me and said, can we make it 1:45? I said, yeah, no problem, I'll wait. And so we waited and waited. About 1:30, that car got cancelled, and I had another one was automatically rebooked for me. That one was about 300 meters up the road. I could see on the map. He was up the other end of the road where I was. That trip lasted about 30 seconds, and that one was cancelled. Another one was automatically booked. So the app does this. If a driver cancels, the app automatically books somebody else. Now, the fourth driver, he messaged me and said the other passengers, he was going to come fairly straight away, but then he messaged me and said the other passengers want to delay their trip. Can you delay your trip? And by this time I went, no, I'll just get a car on my own. I couldn't really wait any longer. You know, it meant to be 12 o'clock. By this time it was going to be something like 3:30 before I was picked up. And it was just getting too late. And by this time I was too hot and bothered. I'd booked out of the hotel, so I had no air conditioning or anything to sit in. And I just wanted to get home. So I booked a car just for me, no sharing. And he was there in 5 minutes. Now, the issues with these cars cancelling. The main problem was that I had booked cars for immediately. So when you do that, for a share car, you are relying on other people and their trip aligning with yours. Oh, we've got a market in here. We might go for a little wander up here through the markets. What's the time now? It's 20 to 6, so they might be fairly busy in here. So yeah, when you go with other people, you are relying also, because it is a share ride, you are relying on others to... well, this is quite a bit deeper than I was expecting. You are relying on others to also be convenient at the same time, and if they're not, the driver's going to cancel that trip and you get another trip booked, which yeah, if you want something immediately, that can be a pain in the ass. But if you're booking something and you're 6 hours in advance or the next day, I've never had that issue before. That was simply because I was booking a car for now. Any time that I've booked for the next day, I've never had that happen. So it's not a regular occurrence. But yeah, the cars are really good. Like I say, they pick you up at your door, drop you off at your door. If you're going under sort of 100, maybe 150 kilometers, a share car's really good. It can be really, really hard if you've got luggage, especially if you've got a lot of luggage. A small suitcase or something is normally not a problem, but I'm not good at traveling light. So So I have to ensure that there is plenty of room in the car and stuff before I accept the ride. But because most of my trips are to Yun Fu, and it's Ange booking the car who knows me, she can generally talk to the driver and make sure they understand, because she knows, well, their whole family knows that I don't travel light. We did a trip this time, no it wasn't, it was 18 months ago, was it 18 months ago? We went down to Shenzhen. And I had more luggage than the four of them combined. I just don't travel. I'm not a light traveller. Yeah. So once you've got your car or your train or your bus booked, now you also have flights. I can't talk about them. I've never flown internally in China. I might be doing that soon. We are trying to organise a trip to Tianjin. So we'll see how we go with that, whether we fly or catch a high-speed rail up there. I'm not sure which way that's going to go. But I haven't flown as yet, so I can't talk about the flight experience here in China. Hotels. I don't think I've ever booked a hotel. The only times I've stayed in a hotel that we've sort of pre-booked was once I went, it wasn't even a hotel room, it was a rental apartment that does short-term stays. I went over to Foshan with one of my old students, and she booked the room for us. The other time when we went to Shenzhen with Jimmy and Ange and their family, that was pre-booked stuff as well. Other times I just get to where I'm going and walk in the hotel and ask for a room. I've never had an issue with a room being available. So that's not a problem unless you're traveling sort of Chinese New Year, National Day holiday, you know, any of the big holidays, you might have issues. But generally hotels are very, very good. I would probably say, okay, so we're back onto the main road here now. We're going to just wander down this way, keep on chatting away. Yeah, hotels are generally really good. Especially the chain hotels, the bigger hotels, never had any issues. The only issues I've had with hotels is if you saw when we went over for the Gaelic football last time, I think it was, we actually booked into a small hotel. We'd paid and everything, and then they turned around and said, oh no, we can't accept you or whatever. Which is not strictly right of them. They are meant to accept foreigners. I actually got a notice, oh wow, look at that, on the back of that truck is a big drone, which will be for spraying fertilizer and stuff. I don't know if we're going to be able to get close enough. No, the lights have already changed, it's going to be taken off, but that's a big drone on the back of there. Which we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So yeah, this hotel decided they didn't want me to stay there. Now, a while back I got a notice through one of the foreign groups, which came, it was a public awareness article from the government saying that hotels are not allowed to reject you on the basis of you being from another country. So really, I could have shown them this thing, and I'm pretty sure they would have backed down and just said, yeah, okay, we'll let you stay. But I really don't have that much interest in doing that. I'd rather just go and stay with somebody who is actually happy for me to stay with them.
Welcome to China.
Well, thank you. I've been here for a long time.
Oh, have a good time.
Always have a
Oh,
good time. Bye. Yeah. Okay, that was nice. Yeah, so these hotels, they are meant to accept you. You are not technically allowed to be rejected from a hotel because you're a foreigner. But they'll come up with other excuses. Oh, the room's not ready, or it's not appropriate for foreigners or something. They'll come up with a reason. I haven't got the energy to argue with these people, so I just go, don't worry, I'll go and find another hotel. But yeah, hotels generally here, they're a good price. The hotel I stayed in Jiangmen for 2 nights cost me, what was it? I think from memory it was 268 RMB for 2 nights. So we're talking around about just over $50 Australian for 2 nights. The hotel room's really good. I've never had a bad hotel room since I got to China. So yeah, hotels pretty straightforward really, and they are good price. Trying to think what else, if you're sort of traveling around China, what other types of things do you need to know? We might have to do a second video about this actually, because there's so much. There's things like WeChat, getting money on your WeChat because nobody uses cash anymore. If you are here only for a week or 2, maybe it's worth just sticking with cash. If you're here for a month or more, you probably want to set up a WeChat account that you can put money on. If you're here for like a month, maybe you don't want to actually link your WeChat to your bank account, which I don't know if you can do with bank accounts outside of China. I believe some countries you can, other countries you can't. I think if you're from Australia, Australian banks probably wouldn't allow you to link your WeChat to them. But the other option there, if you've got a friend living here, you can give them, I don't know, 1,000 RMB cash, and they transfer 1,000 RMB to your WeChat. And that gives you some money on your WeChat. In terms of the actual travel, that's probably covered most of what I know about. We might follow up and do another video in the near future about sort of day-to-day stuff, your WeChat sort of stuff and other things that you might need. We did talk about this a while back, but it probably wouldn't hurt to talk about it again and maybe expand on some stuff that we talked about that I've learned since. But we are back at the stadium. My bike's parked just over in front of us, so we're going to finish up there. If you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, share with friends, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. Questions or comments, hit us up down there in the comment section. If there's anything you would like to know about life here in China, Guangdong, especially here in Jiaqing, again, hit us up down there in the comment section. You come up with a good idea for a video, we'll go away and we'll make a video specifically for you. Help you learn the things that you want to learn. But for now, it is time to go and source some dinner. So we're going to jump back on the bike, go and find something to eat. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you all in the next one. Cheers.